Hello guys, welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Teachings. Today's recaps and teachings are from Friday, Lotto option trade guys. Very slow day, frankly. Not my best day personally, but there were a few solid short winners. But middle of the day, there were some chop losers and some Lotto losers. So it was okay, nothing devastating on any loser or something, but it was definitely not like our past Friday lot of option trades. You can see that list playlist. I might have that how we traded earlier opportunities because market gapped up. So, anyways, we'll recap all of that. Not a lot to recap for Friday, but we'll definitely recap. And just before I start, a quick introduction. Guys, these recaps and these teachings are the trades that I share in the community. Any trades my traders in the community are taking, or any trades that I share on Twitter, on previous YouTube videos, or any trade idea that I discuss in my trading community. So we do not trade anything random. Our trading and investing and is based upon repeatable setups that I have been using for many years and repeatable system that thousands of traders across the world use. So we trade based upon that system, those setups every day. Before the market opens, me and my team, we go through all the news sources and we create a game plan for the day based upon the news, earnings, and all other pre-market gappers up and down. This was today's watch list: Apple, AMG, and Square, Coin, um, DKNG, EXP. There were a bunch of these straight Starbucks which were on our watch list today. I usually star the plays which I'm focusing on. So we'll take a look there and see how we did. I personally did not trade a lot, but we'll definitely discuss the ones we traded out of our watch list. Net was finally a good one there from the watch list. There was MSTR was a loser. Apple, we avoided the chop. So we'll discuss that. We also provide levels to the community in the morning. Based upon these levels, community can trade long or short. You can pause the screen and see how those levels worked out for us. Additionally, I provide day 2, day 3 strategy, which is my strategy that I have built. You can pause the screen and figure out, read how we play based upon day 2, day 3 strategy, how that works out. You can watch it. There was not many movers today in the market, but this is how we play. These are the tickers. If they trigger, we take them long or short. Yeah, so that's how we do it. Anyways, I'm usually on voice first few hours when the market open, guiding everybody through the market. SPY QQQ, what's the trend? What's the market looking like? Is it a chop or is it a trend? So we'll discuss all that. We'll definitely discuss why the market, what was the market today like, the big gap up that spoiled a lot of our setups. We'll discuss all that in the end as well. Let's start with the first play of the day. We'll start with the best play of the day that kind of saved our day was Square short. So let's see what was the plan on the Square. Let's go to the game plan. Square EPS beat, revenue beat, support pivot 73.20, 74.70, resistance 77. Neutral bias as long as 75 area holds. Under 75, that's a gap fill under that. So as soon as the market opened, I saw the weakness. I saw that it's breaking under the cloud, which gave me a signal that I should short it, because it was breaking under this cloud level based upon our system and based upon the pivot that I just showed you. And that's when I told everybody short it. And then I put a stops and a alert over here at 75.50s in case it pushes over the cloud. We will stop out. It kind of chopped up a little for a bit. It kind of made a nice little bull flag. And sometimes your short is not going to work right away. If you enter somewhere here, you probably were down here. It's not going to. You have to give it time, right? You have to give it time. Put your stops in. Give it a time to work out. If the three candles, yes, three candles. This is not what we want to see, but at 10 a.m. it broke the bear flag. Definitely we don't want to see that, but it's not yet over our clouds. Our system is not telling us to get out of the short. And when bear flag breaks down, and then we fade all day down. It did kind of base make another bear flag here and then broke down. So look at this complete gap fill that we got, right? So you can pause the screen. Shorts finally paying, lock some profits. I kept saying lock some profit, and full gap will be nice. And then when this it was consolidating right here, these levels, I told people that if it gets over this base, cover it, right? And close the short. But it broke another bear flag, and then kept running. 75 puts went 300%, full gap fill right around around 1256. I saw enough extension, profits were logged, I exited, right? So that's what I told everybody, exit at that level. So on the square, you can see all the price alerts that I set for everybody on Square. So this was another same setup. We have traded this setup many times. You can find this setup in my previous videos, why I was short Square and what was I looking for. I was looking for an all day fader on Square, which was a beautiful fade for us and a big win for the community. So next one we're gonna discuss is basically the Apple, right? So Apple, I avoided it all day. So let me show you why I avoided it all day. Let's look at the pre-market plan. Apple bullish to neutral, gap fill under 183, 182, and resistance at 187. So 187 was the resistance I gave everybody, and you see it rejected from 187 in the morning. I mean, you could short scalp it versus 187. You could have made like $3-4 in the morning. I just avoided it. I knew that it's either gonna chop in this range, right? It's gonna trap some shorts. They're gonna think it's gonna be a short, and then it's gonna do what I thought it did, right? So it pulled back from the resistance that I gave in the game plan, bounced from the clouds. You could long scalp it, you know, it's up to you. So I said heavy, no position. I avoided the headache. That was the end of the day. But all day you see no comments there because I was not involved in Apple. The reason being, big gap up. The shorts will think it will fade, but it was not getting over the pre-market highs, so it was not going higher. That's for sure. And was it going to gap fill? Not really, because you see the support that I talked about was being bought up. So there was no reason for me to mess with Apple, right? The only trade was probably a B minus short scalp at open. Anybody who tried to long Apple between this chop range, see what I'm saying? Chop range, you lost money. If you were options, you lost money. And yes, if you bought the dip on the support that I gave everyone, 183, yeah, it took you whole day to make some money. Maybe you pushed to 186, but it was not worth it. Spending all that time because it was a choppy action. And then there was a 512 short end of the day, pulled back. So, there was nothing for me to trade on Apple. There was some setups. Were the A plus? No. And so that's why I avoided the headache, because I have seen the reason. I know I have seen this price action before. I know this price action before. CVNA was similar price action yesterday, not exactly, but almost similar. And then many times we have traded many other tickers, who gap up so much and they just chop. I'm either interested in a gap up, gap fill, or a gap up and push over the pre-market highs. It gave me neither. So in this chop range, I was not interested to trade Apple. I avoided the headache. I avoided the losers on Apple, and I'm very happy about that. So, but just wanted to share that why there was no guidance on Apple. I mean, no guide. My guidance was to not. I'm not trading, but the point is why we avoided. Why I told everyone to sit on hands on Apple, and if somebody traded some setups, that's fine. But it definitely did what I said in the morning chop range. So there was a loser today, MSTR. You know, so so what MSTR was doing was we had a 1250 Lotos. I had a 1250 Lotos, and we took it in the morning expecting a push. ATR was decent, and it was our day two play. Bitcoin was strong. It and when you take Friday Lotos, like I explained, the risk is 100%. So either I could make 200-300% or I lose 100%, and that 100% is defined based upon your account size. If you have $20,000 account, you probably put $150 in Lotto, because either it becomes 4, 5, 6, 700 or you lose that. So that's how that Lotto was the Lotto kind of fluctuated between minus 50, 100 to plus 30%, plus 40%. At one time, it was really green, but that's what not I was looking for. I'm not risking 100% to make 20, 30%. I'm risking 100% to make 200, 300%. Should I make a judgment call to cut that Lotto? Yeah, I should. If I think that, it's not going to work, then probably I can cut it under 512s, or under 3450s. So that was my first target on 1250 Lottos. And it broke down and went chop, chop, chop. It tried to push again. Finally, it closed under 1250. Our Lottos of 1250s went to zero. And so that was a Lotto loser. Remember last time how good we did on MSTR? In last Friday, I think, or a few days back. But that's my plan. So just wanted to show you how to manage the risks, the losers on the Lotto options place. Next one we're going to discuss is net. So net was a all day short for us. Let's see what was the planning on net. Net had, net was an earnings play, a bearish to neutral, only long if clouds hold, otherwise short. So that's the plan I gave everyone. And as soon as the market opened, I told everybody that net, watch if it stays heavy, short the pops. And it was heavy, and I added to the short. 73 was my first target. 73 target met. It was still heavy, and later it hit 72.68, and then it curled, and that's where we exited, right? So the entry was right here, 76.50s, and you covered, almost made $3 short on net. Really, really nice trade there in the community. So next one was Starbucks. Starbucks was our day 3 setup. It had earnings, and it has been fluctuating, but as I always tell you, you need to have day 2, day 3 setups on your watch list. And Starbucks was a trade by Win. It was his call out. Win is a sniper. He only trades few things. Win, those who don't know, Win is a great trader in our community, our senior lead trader and a friend. And he always is very sniper with Starbucks, right? He came in the morning, he said short the pops versus 76 right at the open, and started to break the clouds. And we broke the clouds right on Starbucks. Let's see if I can show you there. So you see the level was 75.10 and 75.60. So we had it on our game plan, and then Starbucks started to fade, 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 fade. And then, the targets were like 73. And then once it's curled, I told everybody to exit. So you can pause the screen, see the guidance, buy Win. Such a beautiful guidance on Starbucks since it broke our 75 pivot, $1 risk, or even less risk actually. You could have risk 75.50s, and you fade it all day, for like $3. Really, really proud of this trade by Win, and community really nailed this one. So let's look at SMCI. So what was the trade on SMCI today? SMCI was a morning long. This was a trade that I told community to long on the voice. The first trade I told everyone was to long was SMCI because I saw the relative strength, and it definitely pushed. And first target was 790. The second target was 800. We met both the targets in first 30 minutes, and that was our 10 a.m. trade. I'll talk about the 10 a.m. rule later, and then I gave everybody that put stops of 780 on the rest of that, and it kind of broke down 512s. We were out. We did try a little curl later in the day, but those Lotos did not work, went to zero. So but the main trade was in the morning on SMCI long. Was a beautiful, beautiful trade in the community. So there was another short which was I didn't have on a watch list, but the community members told me about this, that Bill also should be on the watch list, also needs to be heavy. So I told everybody that when Bill was breaking the clouds, that that's a breakdown here. Short idea still heavy. I told everyone if it breaks 60, it goes much lower. You can cover some at 69, 59. I had to say 59. And you see the Bill was all day short, right? Bill was like easy peasy short, and it's by the system, right? We are not like, our system is telling you that it's a short, and RGB was on it all day. And you can see RGB's guidance on Bill. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful play. So Anthony. So kudos to Anthony. He said Bill should be added to the news play, and that's why what I told everyone, that short the Bill on the pops. Beautiful, beautiful guidance by everyone in the community and the trading floor. Beautiful move, all day short. Power of the community. You can see right here on our trading floor. So let's look at some other plays. We were long in the morning. Microsoft was one of that one. So Microsoft was bullish in the morning, then Meta was bullish in the morning, and the reason they were bullish was they were over our levels, right? Meta was over the resistance pivot 446, and Microsoft was over resistance pivot 403, right? So both of them broke the resistance pivots and they were super strong. I was talking about on the voice, and they held the strength whole day. So a lot of traders, I think, scalped Meta and Microsoft, but just wanted to point out, and I will show you the next one, which was relatively weak, which was not a long but a short. Let me show you that one. So you saw that how Microsoft was strong, but Google was a short at the open. So I told everyone that Google is, is not a long. It's a short. I was talking, see, bearish, leave it long. I told everyone Microsoft Meta, good longs. And Google faded until like 1040 because where are our levels? So you have to trade with the levels. Google, once it broke 167.12, that's it. It was a short. You just take a short and ride it as long as it stays bearish, guys. It was a good scalp, 40-50% on the put side. So Google short in the community was a nice one. All right, let's talk about the market today. SPY QQQ was not much. There was a kind of a 10 a.m. failed breakout. We were actually playing the breakout and then 10 a.m. hit. My old followers know I teach this 10 a.m. concept. If you go to my website, you will learn about the 10 a.m. concept, right? So let's look at it. What was the 10 a.m. concept? So let's check it out. So 10 a.m. concept, if you go here, trade recaps, ripstereducation.com, 10 a.m. trading concept. Learn this concept, read about it. Once you read about it, then you will see what happens at 10 a.m. So I explain this concept in detail, right? In detail, I explain this concept. What happens at 10 a.m.? I probably do a webinar on this as well. But this is a very important concept. Everybody must learn. So that's why we take our first profits from 9:30 into 10 a.m. So, anyways, after that, there was only setup was this 3450. So when market gaps up, and chops, a lot of our most of our trade was gone with this meat was gone from here to here because market gapped up, and then it tried to break out, failed breakout, and then chop. You can't even do short this. How can you short this action? This is you cannot short this action. This is not like up down up down up down, and then finally the clouds met the price level and then it finally bounced. And I think I did send this price alert 3450 cloud pullback. And you see, once that cloud pullback happened, its stock went, SPY went another $4. So that is the power of 3450 bounce, guys. That is the power of 3450 bounce. And then there was a midday breakout I gave everyone on QQQ. Nothing much, little scalps right here, there was this breakout that I shared with community. Before the breakout I shared this. So there was a setup, breakout setup, and then we break out. We made a little 40-50% there, nothing special, but but that was the action today on SPY. Morning was tough, maybe a little uptrend from the clouds. Later in the day we traded a breakout and just we got out, but no really squeeze or anything of a big range or a big move. You see, we only traded 63% ATR on both SPY and QQQ. Relative volume was normal, not out of the ordinary, 100% same volume that it usually has. But that was the Friday for us today, guys. Maybe next week will be better. Bigger picture on SPY QQQ, market is very bullish. If we break out next week, we might push higher here out of this trend line over 508, and there's this 509 is a Fibonacci level. So we'll see what market does. And even QQQ is very bullish. So looks like market is very bullish. Might be time to look at some swing trades. And VIX is kind of fading. So once VIX is down this low, that means this is where we have to look at our swing trades. So I will look at some plays for my community, and that's how we will do some swing trades. Maybe if VIX breaks this trend line right here, That will be really, really good. Anyways, guys, happy weekend, happy Sunday, happy Saturday, and I will see you Monday. Take care. Bye bye.